All right, everybody.
There we go. You got it.
Hey, oh my gosh. I think we're live.
Yeah, I think it's
We're
recording,
on.
so
Hey,
I think we're live and we're all moving. I can see heads moving in the green room.
okay, man, what a deal. It's like every single time. I'm okay, here's the deal. I'm in Kentucky and I'm at the lake, at Dale Hollow Lake, and I have Wi-Fi. I don't know how we have Wi-Fi here because we're in the middle of nowhere. But
Well, Gene's got Starlink on his kayak, so
yeah, he does, yeah. But who would ever thought we could broadcast from a lake in the middle, like by Kentucky, Tennessee, and do the Yakoff Award. So we're there. So hopefully
great.
we'll get a few people on here, and yep, there's somebody.
Awesome.
Um, and then anyway, we're this is our last two guys to get to the final four. Keith,
Right. This is the last of the quarterfinals.
can you tell people why you're wearing that jersey?
I can, because the Winnipeg Jets won the President's Trophy. First time ever in the history of my team that I grew up in Winnipeg, as everyone knows from listening forever. But
There you go.
we are also up 2-0 in the series against St. Louis. And Marty actually called me
Yeah.
stuck in a traffic jam he's like, dude, I'm looking at the St. Louis Arch. It's so pretty, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, can't talk. I'm watching the Jets game against St. Louis. And they just scored. Everyone's probably pissed off down there.
I,
So,
I drove by the stadium as we were talking. The baseball stadium.
yeah. They were playing in Winnipeg because we had a better record.
Okay.
So,
All
just so
right.
you know.
Cool. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, that's where we're at. So we got Gene Jensen, Mr. Starlink, and Chicken Farmer. We'll talk about that.
Yeah. I heard that yesterday, too.
Yeah, and then AJ Ramirez and AJ. I think he has a restaurant, right?
AJ is, correct me if I'm wrong, is it, I don't want to say the golf course. He can say it, but I think it's Pebble Beach.
Oh, okay. Well,
Something like
he'll
that.
tell us. And then
He'll
we have.
tell us.
Let's bring.
So we got Trevor from Vibe,
Yeah,
one of their pro staffers.
let's bring on Trevor.
Yeah.
Here he is.
There you go.
Trevor from. I don't. Maybe he can. We had trouble back in the green room with Trevor. Can you say hi? Oh, there he's gone again.
Oh man.
It's
He's, no,
showing
Yep.
I'm working.
And now
I'm
it's
back.
working. You're back.
Back.
You just
Perfect.
gotta lean closer.
yeah, stay close to your camera.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
So
what it
I'm
is.
out of Northern California.
Okay,
Okay.
sweet. So we got actually some West Coast coverage here for once because I'm in
Okay.
Revelstoke, British Columbia. Trevor's in where in California?
About an hour north of San Francisco.
Okay, and AJ, who's about to come on here soon, you're where? San Diego? Monterey.
Yeah. And then
Wow.
Trevor's with Vibe, right?
Correct. Yep.
So Vibe is our sponsor this week, and of course D Hooker is our lifelong sponsor and
Yep.
the Yakoff Award. So Trevor is here representing Vibe, and so tell us a little bit about the Vibe, what you got there.
Well, so first let me introduce this a little bit. So
Yeah.
people that don't know, Vibe just came out with a couple new cool boats called the Shaka and the Hydra. Remember when Hastings was on here a couple weeks ago? He was chatting about it. We were showing some pictures of them breaking through the surf and stuff. So Trevor is one of the first people in the world that have ever got one of those boats. I think it's sitting there right behind him because I recognize the color and the shape.
Yep.
Yeah, sweet. So yeah, I talked to Cody today from Vibe and Kayak Distribution. And I was like, man, if we could get Trevor on here to talk about his experience with that boat as one of the first people ever, it's not even like barely for sale yet.
Yeah, it's going to come out in a couple of days here. So
yeah, so why don't you tell us what you're doing? What's going on?
So I got the opportunity to launch actually this last weekend. And of course, I'm launching out of Northern California. Can't just launch without a whole bunch of gear. So I ended up loading up a couple of ambush crab traps on it and went out and was really impressed with how stable this was. Even with, 50 pounds of weight on the front of it, was just got to the crab spot in record time. Usually I'm on a Vibe Shearwater, so I'm using pedal drive. But with the paddle, I was very impressed with how quickly this cut through the water, got me to my crab spot within, 10, 15 minutes, and was really impressed. Extremely stable too.
Yeah, I was watching your video, and you were talking about going out to the crab spot, and you were bringing some, hoping because you had a son that wanted you to bring some crab home to him for dinner.
Yep. Unfortunately, it disappointed him. I was only on the water for an hour.
Right.
Was just a quick little evening trip, out on
And you
Easter
were
with the
only
boys.
paddling, right? You
Yep,
were only
fully
paddling?
paddling.
Sweet.
Yep.
That
And
went really
yeah,
pretty well.
got out there quickly, dropped a couple, and of course it's like let me check the stability on this. I was able to stand up on it.
Wow.
Kind of jumped around a little bit and was really impressed. I'm really looking forward to getting this kayak out into some of the fishing tournaments that I do on the ocean with it, and getting to some more remote spots, some beach launches, things like that. You
Yeah.
can't always pull up to the launch easily. Sometimes you got to launch the surf. So this is going to be really essential for launching through the
And
surf.
so, Trevor, that's what it was kind of made for, right? It's like an ocean out
Yep.
there surf
Yep.
boat, and kind of
So
like the
it's
old Trident 13 from Ocean Kayak that you could get
yep,
out there
exactly.
and get out, and it looks awesome. I can't wait to try it. We're gonna get to try it. Might even get Marty in one in June when we're up in Sea Otter Lodge, because we got one shipped up there to play with for some photos
nice.
and stuff.
Is Trevor going on that trip?
I'm not sure. That's up to the boys from Vibe.
Oh, okay.
Depends.
We'll see what happens.
No pressure, Trevor, but it depends how you do tonight.
Absolutely. Yeah. So far, quick couple trips out, and it's lightweight. I truckload. I have a Toyota Tacoma, so I'm throwing it on top of my truck.
Right.
With the Hydra, I can pick it up really easy, lift it above my head, throw it on top of the truck, and hit the road. So,
What are the dimensions of it? Do you know? Like how wide and
yeah.
stuff?
I want to. It's actually a lot narrower. So Vibe actually has a Sea Ghost. This is actually narrower than the Sea
Oh,
Ghost.
really?
But it's still extremely stable there. So it's a 13-foot kayak. I forget the width dimension on it. With me sitting in it, there's only about 4 inches, from the left to right to me. But even with that said, it's stable. I mean, it's really stable. I'm really impressed with it.
Right. Is she done a spike when you're out there crabbing?
Yes, absolutely. No, he's I run into him all the time. He's a good guy. He runs a guide service out on the Sonoma coast.
Yeah.
There's another guy, Rod, that I kayak with. Believe it or not, he's 92.
Yeah.
And it's pretty impressive to go out there and watch him on a pedal kayak, just doing what
That's
he
awesome.
does. And yeah.
Dennis is like an icon.
Yes. Yep, absolutely. No, it's one of those things. We got a couple guys on the Sonoma coast that have been doing it for years, have a lot of knowledge.
Yeah.
So whenever I'm out there, I try to fish with them, try to pick their brains a little bit. And
Yeah,
we got a really good kayak community out here.
Yeah, you bet. We do a podcast with the kayak fishing story, and Dennis has been on. You got to check that out, man. A great story.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll definitely check that out.
He bought the first kayak fishing website URL, which is kayakfishing.com.
Kayakfishing.com, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so he's like, that's his mark in history, and then of course the guiding thing. Yeah.
Yeah, great guy.
Okay, with that, let's bring these guys in. They're falling asleep probably back there. Let's bring all these guys in. Well, I thought they were in. I don't know what happened. We'll get everybody in here. There's one. Let's get this one. Who am I missing here?
Everyone else.
Golly. Trevor
and AJ.
Trevor. And let's get AJ. We got to get AJ. I had him in there. I don't know what happened.
I can see him. There he is.
There you go.
Okay.
There we go.
But I'm going to go back to this scene. There we go.
So this is AJ's first time on here, too, as one of the competitors from the Yakoffs. He and Wesley both couldn't make it the first time because he was opening a new restaurant that week. So welcome for your first time to Marty's show here on Kayak Jack.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, awesome. And Gene, thanks for coming back. I know you're a busy guy, hard to get a hold of sometimes because you're chasing bees and chickens.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about that.
So let's first of all, let's hear a bit about that because.
Well, I lost both my hives this winter. A lot of people lost hives this winter, so I put a trap out, caught one swarm. It's at my sister-in-law's house, several miles away. Forgetting it's something you do before you move them back. And then I caught another one yesterday, and then I get a call from my neighbor as I'm working on a chicken coop that I'm building. He says he's got a swarm moving into his house, and so I ran over there to see if I could help him, and I couldn't. I had already moved in, and I'm allergic to bees, by the way. And then
Great hobby then.
Yeah, and so yeah,
It sounds like Marty's allergic to fish today. So
well, hey, Gene,
yeah.
if you are looking for a hive, we happen to have one that attacked our house yesterday. And my wife actually called the local beekeeper to see.
Oh yeah, swarm. Yeah,
a swarm. Yeah,
it's
swarm.
swarming season. Literally, I put a trap out yesterday morning at 11, and I had a swarm caught by 1 o'clock, which never happens.
Wow, so that's nice of you, Marty. So you picked up and packed up the camper and drove to Kentucky.
Yeah, the bees may have followed me. I don't know, but they were swarming our home. We have a beehive behind our house on a big tree.
Yeah, it's swarming season. So yeah, dude, I wish I lived closer. I'd put a trap out there in a heartbeat.
There you go. Yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah, but then I've got 30 chickens hatching up in the dining room. I've got 20. I just moved out of the brooder into the new chicken coop, and I'm the only one in my neighborhood with a incubator. So I'm hatching eggs for all my neighbors.
Wow.
Sweet.
Yeah, because everybody's chicken crazy for some stupid reason. I've got 9 chickens. I've had them for years. So
well, AJ has a restaurant, so you can ship the chickens to him.
Yeah, all the roosters will go in my freezer in about 10 weeks.
You guys are worried about chickens. I'm worried about the eggs. We're over here with the egg shortage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that your president there, he's got a fetish with eggs or something.
Yeah, I definitely don't have an egg shortage. I have a ton of them.
Nice. Plus, everyone does right now because we just had Easter. So.
Yep.
Wow, interesting stuff.
Sweet.
So
AJ, we just heard a little bit of Gene's week here, but tell us about this restaurant that you've been working on building and training people like Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, so if you guys don't know, I work at Pebble Beach Resorts out here in Monterey, California.
I was right.
Wow.
Yeah, and so we're renovating the main building, which is the lodge, and it houses 2 restaurants in that building, and one of those restaurants is mine. So we're actually shut down for until October, November. So we're putting a dinner service at one of our cafes, and that's what I was doing last time for the podcast. Yeah, so it was the first time the resort's ever done that, so it was kind of a you know what show that whole week.
Yeah. So you're saying it's your restaurant, like you own it, or you?
No, it's not. It's not my restaurant. It's the company's, but
you're the executive chef.
I'm the chef. Yeah.
Oh wow. Right. What's your favorite thing to make?
Eggs and rice. Ironically,
this is going to turn into a profitable show for Gene, I think.
We might need to make a deal, Gene.
Exactly. I'll double my flock and be ready by September.
Ship those eggs. So anyway, these guys are battling for the final spot for the final 4 of the Yakoff Awards. Chad Davison from Missouri won the last round.
Yep.
And
Chad from
Huh?
I was just going to say, so it's pretty cool because right now we've got Ethan Jett won his quarterfinal.
Yeah.
He's Hobie. And then we had Jake Suvak from Vibe win the other one.
Yeah.
And then we had Chad Davison from Old Town win over Seth Yates from New Canoe. And now we've still got one more New Canoe, which is AJ Ramirez. And then we got Gene Jensen, who is our last bona fide guy. So the cool thing about this, regardless of who wins this week, Gene or AJ, we're going to have 4 different boat brands in the semis.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's cool. Yeah. That's very good for me, for branding. Yeah.
I'm trying to find the here it is. Okay. There we go. All right. So we have this is the
Let's just ask here, Trevor. First, have you heard of the Yakoff stuff that's been going on? I've been watching anything. You got to lean closer.
Was kind of interested
No,
when I saw it.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this Yakoff Awards? And then kind of started looking into it, and it's pretty awesome. It's nice to be able to show other people's setups, see what people are running, and kind of replicate or change or take some of this from this boat, take some of that. So it's really interesting to see. I got a Shearwater myself, and that thing is decked out, and I'm already thinking of some upgrades that I want to do. Kind of looking at some other people's setups and kind of. So it's awesome. I like it. It's good to see.
It's super cool because probably Jake really well, obviously.
Yep.
And he's got a Shearwater. I've got a Shearwater that Cody and Matt and them sent me up here. That's one of my boats too. I'm lucky because I get to use a bunch of different brands, but I've also got an unlimited. And but I learned stuff from watching everybody else of the ways you could tweak things and do it to your own, even if it's a different brand. But even I'm sure you learned something from watching what Jake's done.
Absolutely. No, there's a couple things I was already kind of looking at the Guardian Angel light system, but I really like how he had his set up, and I was kind of thinking how I would use it on my Shearwater or now on the Hydra, but kind of seeing how people use it. It's nice to integrate it into something I'm going to use.
Guardian Angel is actually we call the largemouth sponsor of the Yakoff, so they're sponsoring the next round, the next couple weeks, 3 weeks, the semifinals and the finals. So nice plug. You just said that because you want me to get them to send you a kit. I like it. Everybody else got their kits. I can work that out for sure. We'll get you some.
That'd be awesome. No, it's like I said, I'm always, trying to figure out what I can use, make myself safer on the water. Safety is always a big thing with the swells out here. A lot of boats. Salmon season, I plan on maybe getting my kayak out there with the other 4,000 boats that'll be out there this year. So,
wow.
It's whatever I can do to increase safety. That's a big thing.
And that's something maybe we got to talk out of if you're not that far away from me in Revelstoke where I am, but we're going up north. Marty's actually coming with us in June. Salmon fishing and zero boats except for who you go with.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
So
really weird salmon season for us this year, but I'll try to get out there. We'll see what the weather cooperates, so we'll see.
Sweet.
What's your job besides the crab? Is that crabbing a job, or is that like
no? So that's kind of my passion, my fun weekends kind of stuff. I'm actually a production manager during the week. Okay. So I work for a large cable and wire house. We do a lot of soldering, components, things like that. So whenever I can, I try to get out and fish, if not off road. Got a young family, 2 boys at home. So if we're not out fishing, we're off-roading somewhere or foraging somewhere. So, my channel name is Fish Forage Off-Road. So if I'm not fishing, I'm foraging for mushrooms or we're off-roading, having some fun. So no matter what it is, we're out and about somewhere.
Well, it's mushroom season here. I'm not in the Midwest right now, but where I live in Nebraska, it's mushroom season, man. People are going nuts right now.
Yeah, morels are starting to pop up and all that fun stuff.
Very good up here too. We're in the Pacific Northwest where we are. There's a lot of mushrooms.
See, we have a very short mushroom season here. It's rain, couple months, and then it's gone. So it's always nice to explore some wetter areas.
Speaking of off-road, though, AJ has some cool news that came out of the Yakoff. Say, AJ?
Oh, yeah. Since I've been running Malone trailers for as long as I've had a trailer, a couple years now, I reached out to Keith and Beth from Malone, and I was like, man, that new off-road trailer, that all black, looks pretty sweet. So I made a proposal, said, would you guys be willing to send one my way for some content? And, thanks to Keith and Beth and the whole situation, I got one delivered the other day.
Yep.
So I'm super stoked about that. And
it's a it's a sweet trailer.
Yeah, and those new beefier tires are nice, and it's not heavy. It's not a heavy trailer, and it works for my situation too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sweet. There's nothing like having a good trailer.
Yeah.
Your trailer's pretty skookum for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I want to thank Beth too for she subscribes to our fishing intel page now too as well. So
Yep.
pretty cool. Yeah, Eugene Darling said congrats to you there,
Thank
AJ.
you.
You know,
Thank you.
that's kind of what this thing's done. It's really, you increase your contacts and
Yep.
people support. And you're out there doing what you do. People support that because you're obviously going to influence others. I mean, like Gene Jensen will someday be the father of Starlink.
Nope.
He will, the godfather of Starlink. They'll be doing
on
like,
the water Starlink.
yeah, they'll probably put a Darth Vader suit on him and
The
Yeah.
Aqualink.
Aqualink, yeah. But
but it is very cool. Like through the Yakoffs, people have not only made connections with each other, but with brands. And I think 5 or 6 different people have been, or anglers have been, hooked up with new sponsorships, kayaks or trailers or tackle companies, and it's been cool to be a part of helping that out.
Even prizes, and then like for me, the trip of a lifetime. I mean, I can't even fathom what it's going to be like.
Yeah, but you can't say it's going to be a trip of a lifetime till you don't give me shit after the trip and say this trip sucked.
Sea Lion gets on my boat and
so this is funny. So we're actually doing a trip to Sea Otter Lodge on the northwest coast of Vancouver Island. I mentioned this before, but we're doing like a media content trip with a few different brands, and Marty's going to join us. And every time there's some kind of, because in kayak angler I get all these like shark attacks and sea lion attack videos. Every time I send them to Marty, I'm like,
thanks. Yeah. Now I do have some experience in the ocean with dolphins, giant manta ray, sharks. I was out with Jim Salmons 3 miles off the La Jolla coast in the kelp beds out there.
Yeah.
In a paddle kayak, and I did not dare stick my feet in the water. Now I grew up in Southern California, but I wasn't out that far where something could just like eat you.
Yeah, I could see the ocean from my living room, and I am terrified of
Right.
going out there. in the water.
Yeah.
It's one of those things though, when it's in your brain, you think you're going to be scared, but when you're in the moment and you're out there, you don't even think about it.
Well, I mean, I think like when I was on a surfboard, you could see leopard sharks all the time, down below you as you're coming in. That never bothered me at all, but I don't know why. In the kayak, though, man, I was like, well, when I was doing it, I wasn't scared at all. But when a giant manta ray comes underneath you, you feel helpless. Like if that thing decides to go up, I mean,
well, wait till you got some massive humpback whale surfacing right beside your kayak.
Oh my gosh,
yeah,
it's gonna be awesome.
Go watch my Goliath grouper video. So
yeah,
we had orcas last year at our tournament.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh,
salmon sharks up there are just like mini great whites.
Yeah. Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna play part of. We haven't even seen AJ's video yet, but I'm gonna play it here for you a little bit.
AJ sent some new videos in this week.
My name is AJ Ramirez, and I'm here out in Northern California, and I'm here to show you my new Canoe Unlimited rigged for the 2025 kayak bass fishing season.
Look at that.
Gotta find out ways to beat Gene.
Gotta add music.
Another few seconds over here. Oh man. Gee, he's got some stuff on there too, don't you? What?
Yep.
What's unique about yours, AJ? Maybe from anybody else's.
For mine, it's the whole process. I mean, I'm sure you guys have experienced this too, but the whole process that is a culmination of, I guess you could say, 3 years of kayak fishing for me.
Mhm.
Uh, I didn't get all that stuff all at once. I had pretty much everything on my new canoe Frontier 12 first, and I just worked my way up, and then eventually it just kept getting, more and more and more, and then I switched over to the Unlimited, and it's just like the culmination of everything. It's like, now what?
Now,
Yeah.
are you in the ocean with yours or in lakes?
No, just the lakes and the rivers out here.
He's
Okay.
scared of the ocean, remember?
Yeah, I'm terrified of things that are larger than me. And I'm a big guy too, so.
Yeah. That's wild. I mean, I've been doing this 28 years and I still have like just a net and a fishing pole and a box of lures on my. You guys,
That's what that'll get it done.
yeah,
But like guys like me and Gene
yeah.
like to go a little excessive
Well,
on these things.
and once you find a place for something and it fits and it's a good
Yeah.
spot and it just
Right.
stays there,
Yeah,
and you just have to have it. It's one of those things where you
exactly.
I will. I have a motor, but like today, I was on what's the name of this lake again?
Dale Hollow.
Dale Hollow.
Del Hollow. I just pedaled for miles today just to get the workout because I like the workout. That's just what I like to do, and then fish. But I know Gene, you like the motor.
Yeah, I don't fish for exercise.
Yeah, but it is there.
In it to win it. In it to win it.
Yeah, but if you want to get to a spot the fastest these days, you got to put the motor on. So
Yeah.
and then also to as the week goes on, you can add your motor to eliminate the stress on your body, for the tournament, where in the old days you pedaled and paddled all over the place before the tournament and you were wiped out with the tournament day.
Yep.
But,
Yeah, and a few tournament circuits here in California, they allow 2 motors.
really?
Really?
That's
Wow.
coming.
Yeah.
Wow.
Trevor, do you fish tournaments at all? You got to lean closer, remember?
Tournaments.
Oh, there you go. We can hear you.
All ocean fishing for me.
Yeah.
I'll actually be in Monterey Bay in a couple of months here for a Monterey Bay Kayaks ocean fishing derby.
What kind
So,
of fish? What kind of fish?
Halibut, lingcod, rockfish. I think last year it was like a 40-inch halibut was the winner. The last couple years, there's been some big halibut caught at that tournament, and it's one of my favorite Northern California ocean fishing tournaments. They do a really good job for the community. They do a lot of support for the kids, so a lot goes back to it. So it's
That's awesome.
great venue, great people that put it on, and I love it.
Here's a question for you, because part of this trip in June, I'm testing out some halibut and lingcod kind of proper equipment for kayak fishing. So what's your favorite rod length, action, reel size when you're fishing for a big bottom fish like that?
So for me, of course,
up there, you got the chance of catching like a 450-pound barn door, right?
absolutely, yeah. For us, California halibut, much smaller.
Yeah.
So
but what do you use?
So the shorter the rod, the better. Right now, I prefer I run a Kuma Monterey. It's actually an 8-foot rod, but the sensitivity on the tip, you can feel that small little bite versus a big one, and then it can handle a big fish. So I'll actually use that same rod for sturgeon or for rockfish. So it gives me the versatility to kind of go big, small. Can kind of just bring 1 or 2 setups with me, and I'm good to go.
And are you jigging with bait, or are you using like
jigging for rockfish, or I'm trolling with frozen popsicles at that point, or some lures and stuff. So definitely got some good options with the Akuma Monterey rod. You got a lot of options for it. So
nice,
cool.
Okay, I'm gonna get Gene. Gene, where do you want me to start your video at? Because we watched the beginning last time.
Gosh, probably about a third of the way in, somewhere around there.
Okay.
What is going on? And then that rely on 75 amp hour. The reason it's such a big battery for electronics, it is what it is. All right, you get interference. So I've got the wiring for the trolling motor running down that side of the boat, and the wiring for the electronics running on this side of the boat. And the battery that runs the electronics is actually up front. There's my Starlink for all my live streams and everything else. Yes, I know it's a little much, but it is. what it is. All right, so rely on, I got a 75 amp hour battery right there and a 23 amp hour battery running my, my Starlink. And then that rely on 75 amp hour. The reason it's such a big battery for electronics is because if I ever run that 100 amp hour battery dead, which I do a lot on Gunnersville, I have a little dongle that's on this one, and I literally just get up to the front of the boat, unplug the trolling motor, and I plug it into that battery, and I'm gone. You know, it gets me back to the boat ramp. I don't ever get stranded, and I always have power. And that 75 amp hour runs every kind of electronics, all my cameras and everything else. All right, so next I've got the captain's bridge to hold my dual Lowrance HDS 10s. I'm actually testing this this mount right here from Cornfield Fishing Gear. They haven't come out with it yet, but I'm just testing it for them just because they're good dudes and they need a little bit of help.
Mount. Anyway, it's actually pretty nice.
I got the side stagers right here. You notice I cut them in half. I cut a part of it off because it's hard to land a fish over that many rods and that far. It always got hung on my net. So I shortened it up, made it hold 2 rods, and it is perfect. I can actually paddle over it, but I usually don't. I usually move them out of the way when I'm...
Okay, I got a couple questions for you. That's good, Gene.
Yep.
First question is on that Yak Attack rod holder deal. Do you think that they will come out with just a 2-rod holder because of that? Or...
As soon as I cut that thing in half, I took a picture of it and sent it to Wade. And I said, make these, because the long ones just don't work unless you run them at a slant towards the bottom and towards the water.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's just it makes the existing ones make that whole left side of the boat or whatever side you put it on completely unusable.
Yeah, and see, I have a Hobie Outback, and what I did is I took the rod holders and I put them inward instead of outward, and that way my rods are in. They don't catch the branches and stuff like that when I have them down.
But
that's a good idea.
And the way I've got mine set up, I usually don't have 2 rods on it. I usually just leave 1 rod, and the other one is to put my rod that if I catch a fish, have somewhere to put my rod, so I have the whole deck open to work with my fish.
Nice. And I was gonna say the other thing is, like, for me on the front facing sonar, the transducer, it lays in that rod holder as well for me. On there, pretty efficient for that. And then the other question is on that Starlink, which we talked earlier about this, but on that Starlink, do you have like a smaller version now of that big square thing?
That is the small version. That's the micro.
Oh, that's a micro?
That's the mini. And it's not that big. It really is small. You understand the front hatch of cover for the PWR is not long like the SS was. It's fairly squatty.
And so you can go live from your kayak.
Yep.
And what is the camera you're using for that?
I just use my phone or an extra. I have an extra iPhone that's not hooked up to cell or anything else that I'll stream off of.
Oh,
so little iPhone 14 or something that I got on Amazon or something. And but yeah, that runs that Starlink. The modem now for the mini, the modem is internal. So everything is right there. It's a single. You can plug it into AC or DC. It doesn't discriminate.
Wow.
The only thing I found out just recently, the reason I use a second battery, is it has to have 100 watts to basically be running. And so I finally got on Amazon and found a 100-watt USB-C plug and everything else that I just got in the mail yesterday. And I'm going to rig that into the kayak so then I can just plug it straight into that plug instead of having to plug it into a battery.
Mm-hmm.
So
now, with that, like, you can go live, as for people out there that are listening, you can go live. What does that cost per month for you to do that?
So there's the unlimited one that's $165 a month, but I'm on the 25 gig or 50 gig. I think it's 25 gig plan. That's only $50 a month is what I'm doing because I'm not using that much.
So and AJ would tell you that the New Canoe Unlimiteds come with free unlimited plans.
But yeah, the Starlink is just like I said, when Starlink first came out, I was like, I got to figure out how to get this on my kayak so I can live stream because my main lake that I fish all the time down the road has no cell signal whatsoever. Right. There's nothing you can do out there, social media wise. And so as soon as they got that mini and made it to where all of them will be what they call roaming, be able to roam in it.
Mm-hmm.
I sold my old antenna that I camped with and bought that one.
I see. Now, Ethan Jett, he's on here now. He taught me how to do the looping mode on my camera so that I had to search through 8 hours of footage. Yep. Man, that is so cool for you. You can do it with the DJI and a GoPro, each one.
Now they started doing that with the Hero 3.
Okay.
And I started doing it then. But when DJI first came out with their first action camera, they didn't have it. It was actually an update afterwards.
Okay.
I wrote them email after email after comment saying you guys are stupid for not having looping, and because it really is if anybody films with a GoPro or DJI, put it on looping so you don't burn up your SD card and you can film all day long.
Yeah.
What you got to do is remember to hit stop and start after you've caught a fish or whatever else you want to say.
It'll keep 5 1-minute segments for you.
Or you set it for 20 minutes, so it'll keep 5 4-minute segments too, just in case you're like me when I first started and forget to stop and start it until 15 minutes down the road, and you're like, oh crap.
That's a good pointer.
Yeah. That's a good. And then, okay, here's another question for all you guys. Ethan Jett says it makes it so much easier.
Yep.
Yeah, he's right. And I still got to do a video with Ethan because we're going to do a video on or a podcast on how to do step-by-step for editing and stuff, because I've been tinkering with that a little bit. But here's the deal, though. Drew Gregory's kind of a pioneer in this as well, where he's having us submit clips for contests on the Kayak Adventure Series, things like that. Do you guys, maybe you as Gene as well, think that is where we're going to go someday soon, where you have to have actual video footage of your catches?
It won't be soon. As a tournament director myself and owner of Team Kayak Series, I don't see the reason, because we're so good at catching people cheating right now.
Yeah.
Of what's going on, we haven't seen a reason, but we always do recommend, as in Team Kayak Series, we recommend, it's strongly recommended that you video release a questionable fish, and you're smart enough, and anglers are smart enough to know what a questionable fish is.
Yeah.
Just so you can cover your own butt. And that's why I call it the CYA rule is what I call it.
Yeah, it's like things like this, like Ott Defoe. I was watching a video on him today where he was catching some fish on Dale Hollow, and they were bed fish, and he had to show the judge and the videographer. He had to show them that it was hooked inside the mouth, not outside the mouth. And he had one that was hooked outside the mouth, because that's our rule too.
Yep.
And that's just something that that I think if you have your camera running, you can actually say, okay, stop recording, and you have it recorded where it was hooked when you caught it.
Hey, AJ, how do you guys do that in California? Because I know California has a inside the mouth no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, it's all the honor system right now. We'd like to think that everybody out here is being honest about it, but there is really no way to do it unless we go to something like that. But it's always good to have proof, if you get accused of something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, I know, things like this, like I in Nebraska, we don't have much water. We have a lot of water, surface acres, but our bass lakes are the size of a small cove in this lake,
Right.
And so I have to, because Chad Hoover and a KBF, you can submit the same fish during the month on the quantity thing, on his quantity thing there, but you can't catch it within 24 hours. So I rotate around to keep from doing that. I fish a different lake the next day, and then I go back to that lake, because we just don't have that much, but that's the only way I can fish, But the other thing is, though, is, like on KBF, what he's doing is he's like spot checking people with a video, and requiring it for the bigger fish on that, the state challenges and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea, but sometimes I forget, so I go, oh man, I didn't get that 19, But for the most part, I've got most of them videotape or like video. This is my 21 and throw it in the water. So I just want to know if that's where we're going, because some guys are saying, yeah, someday it could be like that,
It could be, but for me, it's just one more thing to have to worry about them that really it's for right now, it's just to cover your butt thing. You know, so if you want to cover your butt, you do it. If you don't have it, then we have to DQ the fish. We're not going to DQ the person, but
right.
If you need it and you don't have it, then we have to DQ the fish. If you need it and have it, then we make decisions from there. So,
and my main purpose of asking these questions is this an addition? Like, you guys have video capability on your kayaks, I'm sure. And most guys these days do. I mean, it was like just 3 years ago, if a guy had a camera, oh wow, that's pretty cool. Now it's like, if you don't have one,
everybody,
you're not cool.
if you don't have 3 or 4, actually. It's like,
Well, like today, I saw a kayak with 3 graphs in the front. You know, and I was like, wow. You know, it was on that new Bonafide XTR.
Well, after I won that tournament, you know, some troll on the internet said, well, he probably cheated. And my simple response was, go watch the TikTok live. I was on the whole day.
Oh, wow.
You know, it's like,
I know, people like Christine Fisher has said, before a couple 3 years ago, where people were questioning her catches and stuff. Well, she videotapes the whole thing just to cover her bait, because I think the more successful you are, the more people are going to try to scrutinize you and look at you through a microscope. And
Christine just put a really cool video out on YouTube. People should go watch that. It was really neat, really good to watch.
Cool. I'll have to make sure I watch that then. She puts out a lot of content. You do too, Gene, on there. And AJ, do you put out content when you're for your kayak fishing?
Yeah, I try to, but I'm not as popular as Gene.
I've been doing it a long time, AJ.
Not yet, AJ.
We'll find out who's more popular this next week.
Dude, I'm in my 16th year. Okay.
AJ, you just gotta like offer free sushi at Pebble Beach if you watch my show.
No, I've been following Gene for a long time. So when I heard I was up against him, I was like, okay, what am I gonna do to put an edge on myself?
and then you sent me all that cash.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. Yeah, I remember when I first met you, Gene, before I saw your truck, I'd go, oh man, the Fluke Master's here. And I got to meet you.
Dude, all that crap is just advertising. It's not going to change me.
Do you actually use a Fluke a lot more than anything else?
I do. Not more than anything else, but when I have one, you better look out, you know. Okay. So I have the last 2 tournaments that I've fished a Fluke, I won. So
nice.
But that's
if you turn sideways and open your mouth and lean back a little bit, it'll look like you're hooked right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, with
that logo right behind you.
Yeah. Mike, Basquatch hunter Mike. He actually.
Mike McKinstry.
He actually made that for me.
Really?
Oh, that's cool. He's a good guy. I like that guy.
Okay. All right. Here we change. We're going to change gears here. So, Gene, what is most unique about your kayak than anybody else's, you think? What's most unique?
Just my mindset going into it is what I feel is really unique is I want it to be the most efficient kayak that I can put my butt in. I want to be able to maximize or minimize the amount of time between casts, no matter what I'm doing between those casts. And so everything has got its place. Everything has a reason. And if I'm not going to use it, it doesn't belong in the boat. If it adds added weight, it doesn't belong in the boat. You know, for the days I'm not going to use my active target, I have it completely removable and it's out of the boat, and that's less weight in the boat. You know, that kind of stuff. That's and then the pedal steering, the rudder, the steerable rudder on the PWR was my idea. Is the reason why it's on the PWR, and it's that, and it's for that reason, so I can fish and move at the same time.
Wow. So that's pretty. Now, do you feel like kayak companies do a great job, don't they, of reaching out? And Trevor, you can answer on this too, of reaching out to anglers' opinions and suggestions.
Well, I've seen it both ways, and I'm not going to name companies, but I've seen it to where they didn't listen to us and they are no longer relevant. And those who do listen to us are either relevant or about to be, or on their, on their way up.
Yeah.
Because we're on the water all the time.
Yeah. For sure. You got to listen to the people that are using the stuff.
Yep. And I've seen, again, 16 years of doing this, engineers think that, and I'm from a family of engineers. I've got a rocket scientist for a brother, and I've got a guy that designs LASIK eye surgery machines for a hobby as another brother. and they're the smartest people in their own mind.
Yeah.
And typically they won't listen to those of us who are just the little people.
Yeah.
You know,
That sounds like my wife, actually.
She better not be on your piece.
She's at home right now. She's at the soccer game.
Okay.
I hope.
Close around.
AJ, what's
I'm
most
outside for a reason.
yeah? What's most unique about your kayak, AJ?
Well, kind of like to tag on to what Gene said, everything on my kayak is removable and interchangeable. So if I want to run dual motors, I can. If I want to run my pedal system, I can. I have different battery setups for. It all just depends on the situation I'm going into, or whatever lake I'm going to fish, or what tournament series I'm going to fish. Um, so, I mean, I could go fully loaded, or if I'm just going out for the day, just fun fish for a few hours, I can, just go as light as possible.
Now, both of you have uh, kayaks that have that you can put a lot of gear on them. But do either of you go bare bones and just go out and paddle that kayak, or do you have a separate paddle kayak?
oh, I don't paddle.
I was forced to paddle the other day because something was going on. Oh, I dropped my remote in the water, and I didn't realize that
Oh man,
I forgot to get a new one. And I
Oh,
was like, oh man, I got to paddle today. Am I still going to go fish? Yeah, let's do it.
yeah.
But I
Nice.
got a good exercise out of it. So I was like, maybe I should do this more often.
that's what I like about my Hobie Outback is that I can go bare bones. I take everything off and 2 rods, one pack of lures, and then I'm loading into a pond. And then like here, I've got it load, pretty much everything back on it. But
Yeah, I consider going lightweight, just getting rid of a lot of tackle and a lot of rods. But
yeah,
depending on the motor, I have my old 11, the Torqeedo 1103 that goes on the back if I'm in the rivers, and rivers are pretty bare bones. Once or twice a year, Westbrook Supply, we get together as a pro staff and we go down the rivers for a 2-3 day camping trip, and
nice.
so I'll go
Yeah.
bare bones and throw camping gear on. It's just that's what I love about a kayak over any other boat is that you can customize your kayak for the type of water you're fishing, as long as you keep that in mind while you're rigging it. I mean,
Right.
you can permanently. I've seen people permanently mount onboard chargers in their kayak, and I'm like, why?
Wow.
You don't ever need that kind of weight on your kayak when you're in the
Yeah.
water. You need it when you're off the water.
Yeah.
Or permanently mount their module for their active target. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
You can make it removable and lighten up your kayak when you're not using it or doing something else. Make it customizable according to the water you're fishing.
Now, I want to mention something about a safety thing too. Every once in a while, you'll see a guy that puts the stabilizers on his kayak.
Yeah, I saw one upside down in the picture the other day.
Yeah, his pontoon caught the water because he had a motor going with it, and it turned it over. So that's a safety concern there.
Yeah, if you've got to modify your kayak to be more stable, you've got the wrong kayak.
Right. I just don't see how you can get into tight places with it.
Yeah. Now, if you put too much weight in your kayak, I remember the first time in a Jackson. What was their ocean kayak years ago? Oh my goodness, it was the skinny one. Anyway, I went out in it and I put a power pole on it and I had my gear on it, and that power pole made it because it lifted my center of gravity so high that I was like, nope.
Yeah.
And so I went to the back, I jerked that thing out, strapped it to the side of the kayak, and I was paddling the rest of the day redfish fishing without a power pole.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Speaking of something I want to take advantage of here right now that we have, because not many people have seen it yet, is Trevor, if you don't mind, can you unbutton there and give us a little walk around of that Hydra behind you?
Exclusive pictures.
Yeah.
There you go.
In the meantime, I'm going to
give us a little explanation of this thing.
So again, skinnier than the Vibes Sea Ghost. It's about 4 inches skinnier.
29 inches.
Like
I looked it up.
3 inches,
Perfect.
3 feet shorter too, right?
Yep, a little bit shorter. So the classic vibe. You got help keep the rods in place. Nice cubby in the front. see.
No, hold on. We're getting a weird picture here.
Marty's messing around with it.
Yeah.
I had it. Uh-oh.
Wait, hold on there, Trevor.
Yep.
You got to close out the your screen share.
There you go.
There we go. That's perfect.
There we go. So
Here we go.
hatch,
Yeah, let's see this thing.
Front hatch has a nice, actually, little bag in it. You can remove it so you can have full access to the inside, which is kind of a nice little feature.
That's a dude wipes holder.
Exactly. It's got the foot steering on the front. I really like what they did with the front pod area here.
Dual opening, right?
So transducer for your fish finder, you can mount it right here, which is nice.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I'll probably throw the battery in the hatch here. If I can do it one-handed. There we go. Because it's a nice little waterproof front hatch, center hatch there.
Wow.
So my battery will most likely go in there. Got another storage in the front with another little cubby. So they did a really good job of just giving a lot of storage areas on this kayak right in front of you, as well as the gear tracks. They did a good job with that.
And so that one closest to us opens halfway too, and the whole thing can come out?
Yep. So you can pop this guy off in the front
and do
open it up,
half,
or
right?
just,
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Is that the Hydra? That's the Hydra?
This is the Hydra. Yep.
What's the price point on it?
I haven't seen the price point on that.
$1,229.99.
$12.99. It's $12.99 US, so it's about 17 grand Canadian.
On their website, it's $1,229.99.
What's the width on it? Is it 32 inches?
29 inches.
29 inches.
And 13 feet, right?
Yeah,
13 feet.
Yeah, 13.
Got 4 built-in rod holders, so 2 in the front, 2 in the back storage compartment. The back storage is actually really deep.
So what in the tank? Well, what size like black pack could you fit there? Like a 13-16, you think, or what?
13-16 with the long way, 13-13 easily. But yeah, I like it. They also have a gear track in the center of your back here, and then 2 along the sides.
Is that a transducer? Is that a transducer scupper I see underneath the boat?
Yeah, so it's actually got one. Let's see if you can see that.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh wow.
That's cool.
Which I really like what they did there.
Yep.
How often are you launching on the beach and your transducer gets, drug on the sand or something? So I really kind of like what they did in there, giving that nice little hole and
for like lots of features for that price point, and for someone who's going off, like even for me out here, I'm in the interior, but I'm on the Columbia River a lot, and it's like it can blow.
Yes, it got a little windy this past Sunday. I was out there, but I'm sitting so low in the water, I really didn't even feel.
And the seat is right. Wind. It's like the old ocean kayak, right? It's like right on the bottom.
Yeah,
right on the bottom. The seat's still in the back of my truck right now, but I've actually had 2 lower back surgeries, so my back's not the stablest. But I was really impressed just with the thin pad, how comfortable I was. That's part of the reason why I picked up a Shearwater. Just sitting in the old school style kayaks, my back after an hour I couldn't walk. So went to a kayak that I found that multiple adjustable seats. You can get in it, get comfortable on the water, and then be able to walk afterwards. Sometimes you get to the beach after you're out on the water for 3 or 4 hours, and it's nice to be able to stretch or move positions when you're out there on the kayak and stand up and do some calisthenics if you need to. So, that's why I usually run the Vibe, but for the time where I don't need all that gear and just kind of going out trying to target some fish, this is going to be my boat that I'm going to be out there on. So,
okay.
Yeah. Before we were chatting, I pulled this down. It was up on my rafters there because my other boats are in the front yard, but there's the old. What boat's that, guys?
Shearwater?
No.
Nope.
I can't.
It's the Trident, right?
That's the Trident 13. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my first real kind of fishing kayak I ever had, and I still use it. It's got nothing on it, but it's just like a fun jump in the river and go paddling.
Yep, that's the first kayak I had was the Wilderness Systems, the Tarpons.
Right.
And
The Tarpon 13 or
yep, so
Tarpon
this is kind
130.
of going back to that, just very basics.
Yeah,
But
cool.
then giving you the ability to add a whole bunch of features to it. So all the gear tracks on it really allow you to kind of modify and make it
Are
yours. So
you over 30?
that's
Yeah.
the next steps. Next step for me
Wow.
is kind of all right, rod holders, all the gear.
Are you sponsored by Yak Attack as well with that comment?
I've worked with them in the past, not necessarily sponsored by them.
Because you just said make it yours.
Yep,
That's that's
yep.
their line. Yeah.
Are you over 30?
I'm 41.
Oh, you look younger than that. So
Thank you.
So you were around when the Wilderness 130. You were like a kid when the Wilderness 135 was out there.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep.
The old ride. I had that back in early 2000s.
Yeah, and those cut through the water really good too.
Best
So
kayak ever. I think the best kayak ever made.
yeah, they're nice platform. Nice platform.
Except for the seat. The seat, but otherwise it was pretty good. One question though is when that Hydra, right? That's the Hydra.
Yep.
When you're coming in after you're crabbing, do you surf the wave coming in, or how do you come in?
So I try to surf this past weekend. I mean, it was glass out there. It was like a lake on the coast. So, but yeah, usually, I have a couple surf buddies. I don't surf myself, but I have a lot of Northern California surfing friends. So I kind of talk with them a little bit on, judging the wave, making sure you're basically surfing it in and, kind of being prepared to turn sideways and what you're going to do if you end up sideways and how to shift your body. And I've actually surf launched my shearwater and actually judged a wave incorrectly. And I was shocked. I went sideways for a good 20 feet and just kind of leaned to the side and landed on the beach sideways and was kind of like, all right, I'm good. Cool. So
made it.
I'm looking forward to being able to surf launch this one and cut through those waves a little bit more.
Yeah, that's Jim Salmons coached me, man. It was awesome. And I got to surf the kayak all the way in, man. That was. But then
there's nothing when you hit that wave perfectly, you're able to surf. It's a pretty good feeling. Yeah.
And then, because the first thing he told me when we were coming with the tide, he goes, Marty, you can't race the waves. Don't try to out paddle it. And
you got to judge them perfectly.
So you just lean into it and get I call it 45. Get 45 and just ride it in.
Yep. If you got the paddle, put the paddle down, kind of break yourself and adjust and go with it. So there's a lot of great spots where surf launching is
paddle by the seat of your pants. It's however your pants feel.
Yep. Be prepared to tip, tie everything down, hatch everything up and be prepared to tip. So, part of me getting a new kayak is taking it to a lake and seeing what it takes to tip it. Getting uncomfortable, flipping it over, getting back inside of it, and then trying to gear it up and do the same thing in a lake. If you tip it with no gear on, you're not going to know what it's like when it's fully loaded. So it's nice to fully load it, get to a safe lake, a clear lake with a nice sandy bottom. If you do drop some stuff, you can find it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always good to get in your kayak and flip it. See what it takes to flip.
I wish we had sandy bottom down here.
Yep. Especially, ocean fishing. It's I think pretty much every tournament I've been in, I've seen someone get tipped. So
wow. What's the chances of us flipping up there and that island?
For me, not. I'll be fine, but you're pretty much screwed.
Oh my God.
Yep. And then of course for me, I'm either in a wetsuit or a dry suit. Our water temps 50 degrees, so you don't have much time to be in the water.
Wow. So can I survive with with my Kokatat waders and my Hobie splash jacket, or with the?
You'll survive. I kayak fished up there for a week last year, and I came back with a gigantic sunburn.
Yep, it happens. There is those days you're in a wetsuit and you're out there and the sun comes out, and next thing you know, it's like sweating and pouring ocean water on yourself, trying to cool off a little bit.
It's story time. I'll tell a quick story, Keith.
All right.
So I'm in my ride 135. It's early spring in Nebraska, And of course, I had a wetsuit from California. I had a wetsuit. It was the shorts one, not the full length.
Yep.
And I had the shorter sleeves on. Anyway, I wore that in early spring when I went kayak fishing in Nebraska because the water was cold, right? So I got to go take a pee. Well, I can't pee in my kayak because I got to take the wetsuit off to pee. So I go to shore,
Front dip.
and there's nobody else out there that I can see. And but there was a pickup running up on the top, and I didn't know who it was. Anyway, I go to shore and I sensed somebody. I was running to go pee, and I sensed somebody behind me. Guess who it was? The game warden. He was chasing me down the beach with his gun out.
Wow.
Because
I thought you were going to say Chad Hoover.
bro, he thought I was running from him. So I stop and I go, I had my hands, he goes, "Hey, you trying to run from me?" And I go, "No, I got to go pee." And he goes, "You got your fishing license?" And I go, "Obviously not. I'm in a wetsuit." I said, "It's in my trooper back there. And if you want to see it, you can go. It's in the dash. You can go look at it." He was kind of a weird dude anyway, but his name Virgil, and everybody knows him from Nebraska. Anyway, he
Marty has them over for Sunday dinners now.
No, it was anyway. No, he literally did chase me down the beach with his gun out.
With his gun out, what a moron!
Stop, you're running.
And I was in my here's this guy in a black wetsuit in Nebraska. Remember, nobody else was kayaking back then. There was no other kayaks.
Yep.
That's awesome.
You were a drug runner.
Yeah. Anyway, that true story, man. And then the other story on that same lake was I got caught in a hailstorm, and I went to there's no trees or shelter out there, see, and so I laid the kayak on top of me on the beach so I didn't get pelted to death from a hailstorm. So
awesome.
There's different ways you can use a kayak. Anyway, there's my story for the week. So anyway,
Ethan just commented on your comment there.
Oh, what do you say?
Marty hangs out with him and shows him how to fish a Nico now.
Oh, I didn't see. Oh, wait, where's that?
It just popped up.
Marty hangs out with him and shows him how to fish a Nico. Hangs out with who?
The cop you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. No, actually, I met him another time, and my son CJ, we had been catfishing all night, and Virgil drove up to us, and I was on the drive. It's my old trooper that I still have, and he goes to CJ. He goes, "Isn't it nice your grandpa takes you fishing?" Because I'm a lot older. My son was like 8 or 9 or whatever, and my son looked at him kind of squirrely like, and he goes, "Did I just put my foot in my mouth?" I said, "I think so, Virgil." So anyway, he was quite the character. One time I was out in that lake and I heard all this crashing and wood. He was sawing the branches to get his boat through back where I was in the kayak. His Parks boat. So anyway, good stuff. All right. So anyway, we got to get these guys lined up here. We're gonna make you smaller.
We do.
We're going to line these guys up side by side.
AJ hasn't been here yet. He doesn't know what's going on.
This is there. How's that? Whoop.
Gene's got to be bigger.
Gene's got to be bigger. We got AJ like.
No, I mean the square for Gene. So we're doing like the fisticuffs, AJ. You guys facing each other.
Yeah, we got to do that.
We do it every week.
There you go.
There you go. That's good, but a little bit bigger for Gene's box.
Let me reposition.
There we go.
All right.
It's got to be the same size.
Screenshot of it. He'll take a screenshot of it.
All right.
Well, hold on.
Okay. One of you is there. You go, Gene.
I'm the opposite side this week.
Yeah. Oh, you're southpaw now.
Yeah.
You ready? Right, fists up. Fists up.
Man, AJ, he's you.
Gene, back up a little bit. That's perfect. There you go.
Tight. He's tight.
AJ, don't smile and look at us. Look at Gene.
Oh, that's good.
Look angry. Look angry.
That's a good one.
This is gonna be in the.
Hold on. Stay there. Stay there. I'm gonna make a shot of that and put it out. Okay, I got it.
You guys, this is gonna be in the July issue of
let me show you.
Magazine.
Let me show you what happens when you get a hold of an old bottle of Flex Seal.
Oh. That's awesome. That's
I
a
got it
good
all
one.
over my hands. Can't get it off.
That's a good one.
Is that from sealing up the chicken coop? Or?
Yeah, I was using reclaimed sheet metal. Did you know sheet metal? I mean, the price of sheet metal right now is unbelievable. It's nuts. I actually took it off my back barn to use it as the roof on my chicken
Really?
coop. Yep.
Wow.
I'm turning my back barn into a pole barn, not by choice.
Wow. Okay,
Crazy.
so the voting has started, hasn't it?
Yeah, started
Oh
yesterday.
yeah, these guys started on Monday morning or
Okay.
Monday morning at 12.
And they have till everybody has till Sunday night to vote,
Sunday night.
and then next Monday be announced. So we'll have our final four. So
Winner of these two will be going up against Chad Davison from Old Town, and the other side, like we said earlier, is Jake Subak from Vibe against Ethan Jett from Hobie, and everyone's pretty much from Yak Attack. It's like everyone's got every other accessory, but the four different boats in the final four, so that's pretty cool.
that's pretty neat. Yeah. You wouldn't want. Yeah, we wouldn't want. We had 185 people on and off tonight so far.
Yeah,
So
I tell you this, like going into this as the first time, and the guy who kind of created it and thought about it, like what was going on. One of the big things was I was like, man, I hope we don't just get a bunch of PA-14s and nobody else coming in, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, there was every different brand. We had Kaku in here, like everything. It's been great, and now we've got 4 different boat brands and 4 different sponsored anglers and in the final 4, so it's pretty cool. And we did decide at Kayak Angler that now we are running another one in the fall. We haven't decided for sure yet if we're going to do 2 a year. We haven't decided for sure yet if it's going to be another like sponsored angler kind of thing and pros, or we might just do like a weekend warrior thing where you can't be sponsored. Kayaks are mostly DIY.
Mhm.
All the same prizes, all the same cash prizes, all the same benefits to everybody, but like the regular guy, so more people can relate to, or girl, so more people can relate to doing it for themselves.
Yep.
You know what though? I think that you got to reach out to Bob Ross of Kayak Fishing. He's up there in North Dakota. That guy, he's got the most simple kayak, but his GoPro setup is like unreal.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen that, Gene? Oh man, check out North Dakota Yacker or something. He sounds like Bob Ross.
North Dakota Yacker, is that what it is?
Yeah, because James Francis is one of them. Yeah, see if that's him. North Dakota Yacker.
ND Yak Angler? Nope.
No, it's.
Does he have black frizzy hair and a paintbrush?
I don't know. You never see him, but he's an engineer. He's an engineer by trade, but he has an old kayak, and he's got 500,000 viewers or subscribers, I think, on his deal. I'll find him here too. But that's the guy you got to get, Keith. Too.
But there's going to be lots of different things. We've got Yakoffs in the play for kids under a certain age, and
that's cool.
Different things. But the one thing we're going to do is never dummy down the prizes and the cash prize and stuff. We're going to keep it equivalent for whoever's in, and just make it fun. And brands are super interested in everything moving forward, so it's cool.
Yeah, that's who it is. It's ND Yak Angler, Gene.
Okay, yep.
ND, yeah, I know
that dude out, man. There's actually people that listen to him just for the soothing voice during their workday.
He does have 495,000 subscribers. Oh,
what it is? Yeah.
You see those comments there, guys, or Marty? Who can see the comments? Because I'm reading them. And first of all, Tanya Alman. She's been on like every podcast. Ethan Jett just nominated her to be in the next one.
There you go.
Yeah.
He's from Minnesota. Justin said he's from Minnesota. And then
cool. Tanya said, "Hell yeah!" There we go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So anyway,
nice.
I think you should have a Pelican division, like the $300 and under kayak division.
Can't really. Pelican is having some issues right now. We'll
Talking
go with
about the going out of
different
business
name.
one.
They're going.
That's what I was going to say. Like,
Going
let's
out of
not
business
go there.
competition.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's not go that direction. I guess
You stepped in that hole, Marty.
Yeah, I was like,
I did. I remember when Emotion came out and Tom Strauss called me and says, "Hey, I'm gonna send you a couple of these kayaks." I thought they were like the bomb, man. They were the stealth, the Emotion stealth. I could get anywhere in that thing. And now, of course, Lifetime has those now, but
Yeah.
But you don't see a lot of people. They're mostly people just paddle them, around. But I remember they had the wheel on it even for a while there. So anyway, okay, there we go. Anything else?
No, I just want to say, first of all, good luck, guys, this week, and thanks for joining for sure. AJ, good to have you on one of these finally.
Thank you for having me.
Congrats on your new sponsorships too. That's awesome. That's really cool. Gene, congrats on the new beehive and chicken coop, and
all the work I've created myself.
Good luck with cleaning your hands. Maybe you could use some of that magic fish sauce you got and get that.
I got my hands all scratched up. I'm afraid to use anything right now.
And Trevor, super nice to meet you. We only chatted 20 minutes before the show, so thanks for jumping on and showing us your Hydra. I'm actually super pumped. We've got the Raven one up at Sea Otter Lodge right now, the dark colored one. Huh. So we'll be up on testing and playing with that and get some pictures. You're gonna have to talk to Cody Hastings and Matt to see who else is coming. Because someone's coming from the Vibe team, but yeah. Thanks everybody for being on, and Marty, of course, always for hosting, and good luck to everybody in your tournaments and everything else in this week, and keep following along. And
you guys, your kayaks are simply amazing. What you guys have done, man. That's just. I mean, I've seen Gene's in real time, and it's wow.
It's an addiction.
Yeah, it's an addiction. I know it's an addiction because I spend 200 days a year out in the water in my kayak.
Yeah. And my wife said to me the other day, she's like, so I just got like a 2-tier trailer sent from Malone. I was telling you, AJ.
Yeah.
I put it together last weekend, and then I've got a few boats sitting on it now in my garage, and I've got these boats back here. And yesterday I was in my living room watching TV at night, tying salmon rigs for this trip we're going on that I was telling Marty about. Yeah. Got all these mooching rigs. I'm tying them up. She's like, do you ever fish, or do you just play with your fishing stuff all the time?
That's what I do.
Pretty much.
By the way, Gene, I'm going to try to catch a fish on a Nico rig up there at Vancouver Island.
Oh, I guarantee it. You can catch.
You will.
You can catch bombers on black bass on topwater frogs.
I'm bringing topwater frogs and Nicos with me.
Yeah, you can catch halibut on Nico rigs.
Oh, that'll be sweet.
Yeah,
that'll be great. Okay, all right, we're gonna end this broadcast. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, guys, thanks so much for everything. Good luck this week. Let me know if you need anything. Keep in touch and upload as much as you want this week, because you're allowed to put new pictures, new everything, anything you put on during the week, we'll have uploaded by the next morning. And you got till Sunday night to see who moves on.
Awesome.
There's a cash prize and sponsorships from people you don't even know coming out.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Thanks to our people that are watching.
Kayakjak sponsorship.
Yeah. Well, you get Nico rigs for the Nico.
Actually, something cool. We got Brandon from Kayak Cushion making us a Yakoff embroidered logo kayak cushion for the winner as well. So,
wow,
black on yellow and green logo. Looks pretty cool.
Nice. All righty, I'm ending it.